Part 95. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 941. The mysterious dark door was pitch black, standing quietly in front of the three people. They looked at each other, stretched out their hands at the same time, and pushed towards the door. Click. This was the sound of the door opening, which appeared in Lin Yi's mind out of thin air, as if it was a sound from the dark. When the door was fully opened, there was a deep darkness inside, and it seemed that something was flickering in the darkness. Remember the domain name of this site, Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow dot. But nothing ran out, and there seemed to be only a dead silence inside. Three figures stepped in slowly, and entered the door almost at the same time. Watching them go in, Lin Yi also rose from the ground, frowned and took a step out, and followed in. The moment he stepped into the door, he felt a kind of creepy feeling. It was too quiet here, without any sound or fluctuation. There was pure emptiness here, and underfoot was a piece of black soil. A pure silence filled the place. Lin Yi frowned when he saw this scene. There was obviously no trace of strange power here. Isn't this a strange place? It looks strange. Is it connected to another place? At this time, he had already cast a spell of invisibility. With the help of the true destiny, no one could see him or sense his existence. He looked forward, locked the backs of the three figures, and quickly followed. A group of people quickly moved away from the gate. The further they moved forward, the more Lin Yi felt an inexplicable feeling in his heart. There seemed to be something in front. Soon he saw the three people in front stopped. He quietly sneaked into the ground and came not far from them. Then, he frowned suddenly, because he knew why these people stopped. In front was a huge wall, towering to a height that could not be seen. There was no boundary on the left and right sides. This wall was pure black and had a strange power. Only when you get within 100 meters of it can you see its existence. This wall seems to block everyone's possibility of moving forward. Lin Yi, who was underground at this time, looked forward with the light of the true destiny in his eyes. Under the ground, there is still a wall that blocks everything. Lin Yi's eyes fell on the wall, and he couldn't see through it. This wall also seemed to be made of some special material. It seemed to have the same origin as the black spear in his hand. Seeing this, a hint of interest suddenly arose in his heart. Could this high wall be made by the civilization represented by this spear? It seems that this wall seems to be used to isolate something. The three figures on the ground stopped involuntarily after looking at this wall without boundaries. Then they turned around and began to walk along the wall, as if looking for something. But they all chose the right side, very quickly. Seeing their movements, Lin Yi followed them. These three mysterious strong men must know what happened here. Only through them can we understand the truth of everything. Lin Yi was like a ghost, following them closely underground, and they had no idea at all. This dead silent area was very strange, as if there was an inexplicable power. It blocked everyone's vision, hearing, and even feeling. Once a certain distance was exceeded, nothing could be seen beyond it. Even if Lin Yi used the true destiny solution, the distance he could see through was only increased several times. Finally, after about 10 minutes, the three people finally stopped. A huge black palace appeared in front of them. This huge palace bordered on huge walls, which was obviously unusual. The palace was hundreds of meters high and thousands of meters wide, and each of the huge columns was 5 or 6 meters thick. The black palace was covered with strange intaglio patterns, and it was inexplicably filled with an incomparably noble atmosphere. Just seeing it would make people feel awe. The three figures on the ground circled the palace and came to its main entrance. After arriving at the main entrance, you can see a broken gate. The gate was hundreds of meters high, but now the lower part was completely broken, as if it had been attacked by an external enemy and turned into ruins. There were also some traces of attacks on many of the palace's columns. Lin Yi's eyes showed a trace of solemnity. It seems that this place has been attacked. The three people on the ground came here and seemed to be familiar with the way. They stepped into the palace without stopping, and Lin Yi followed closely. But when Lin Yi entered the palace from underground, he was stunned. Because the palace was not an ordinary space, but a disordered space and time. He had lost the trace of the three figures, and they disappeared in the disordered space. Seeing this change, the brilliance of the true destiny in his eyes quickly increased. He began to look at this chaotic void, and a trace of solemnity appeared in his eyes. He analyzed this chaotic space and time bit by bit, and then he was surprised to find a problem. This space-time seems to contain thousands of different space-time structures, and each space-time seems to be a place similar to a formation node. These formation nodes are interconnected, producing a wonderful resonance. In the end, the majestic space-time power is connected together to form a huge space-time aggregate. Anyone who enters it will be integrated into this space-time aggregate and it will be difficult to get out. His eyes carefully observed, looking for the real core of this space-time aggregate. Zhenming Daija constantly analyzed everything he saw, searching for all the information in his eyes. He was looking for the traces of the three figures. They should have come here more than once, so the goal should be very clear. One space-time after another was swept by Lin Yi's eyes. These space-times are all kinds of strange, some contain dangerous creatures, some are raging flames, or endless oceans, and some are even chaotic and inverted space-time. This space-time aggregate is so dense at a glance that it is impossible to count them. It is also very troublesome to see through them one by one, and it takes a long time. But now Lin Yi could only watch quietly, looking for the traces of the three figures. Fortunately, he soon found some clues. Time and space had slight changes, and the power of the surrounding time and space was injected into these time and space. With a thought in his mind, he looked carefully at these time and space. Time and space were quickly split open, and he saw three figures. They each exerted completely different powers, tearing time and space apart bit by bit. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 942. These time and space are becoming more and more solid because of the support of other time and space. But the next moment, these three people burst out with extremely terrifying fluctuations, directly distorted the boundary of this time and space, and stepped out. Then, they disappeared directly in this time and space aggregate. Lin Yi was a little surprised. He had grasped some laws of this time and space. He was observing this time and space aggregate from a macro perspective. After the three figures tore the time and space, no other time and space showed special power flow phenomena. Obviously, these three figures have left this time and space aggregate. Lin Yi's eyes showed a trace of doubt. This? Where did they go? Is this space aggregate a gate? Only after tearing them apart can we enter the real palace. It was easy for Lin Yi to think of this possibility. His eyes continued to look around, skipping these time and space aggregates. Looking deeper into the palace, he did not intend to go through the main door to try to tear the time and space. The space-time aggregate has a wonderful power, blocking all eyes. Lin Yi increased the operation of the True Destiny solution and finally completely passed the space-time aggregate. He saw a space covered by fog, which was deeper in the palace. Three figures were looming here, and his heart moved. I found you. He took a step forward and walked under the palace, and soon came to the feet of the three figures. The deep part of this palace was filled with thick black fog. This fog was full of weird feelings, and Lin Yi keenly felt the weird breath. Weird breath? What's going on? After the three figures came here, they seemed to be alert. The power fluctuated around them, and they could launch a powerful attack at any time. They were moving towards the fog, as if they wanted to go somewhere. Following their footsteps, they were attacked after advancing about less than 10 meters. More than a dozen shadows made of smoke rushed towards them. These things were very fast, and they were full of ominousness. Just seeing them, Lin Yi felt an inexplicable coldness, which permeated his mind and body, as if he was trembling instinctively. However, these three figures were very powerful. Facing the mysterious monsters that rushed over, they attacked instantly. The man in black robes had a black scepter in his hand and gently touched the ground. A black light diffused out, turning into black lightning, and bombarded the dozen black fog monsters. In an instant, these monsters shattered and turned into smoke again and disappeared. Seeing this scene, Lin Yi's pupils shrank slightly, and a trace of solemnity appeared in his eyes. Those black lightnings were very strange, and there seemed to be thousands of different acquired principles in them. Looking at the black-robed man's technique, it was easy to lift heavy objects, and it was obvious that the previous attack was no pressure for him. This man has mastered a lot of acquired principles. Is it a system similar to the Blue Star martial arts? Various questions flashed in his eyes. The black-robed man killed the monster that attacked them, and the three continued to move forward. Along the way, they also encountered various attacks, all of which were monsters evolved from black mist. The three took turns to attack. The second one to attack was a mysterious man wrapped in golden bandages. His means of attack was the golden bandages all over his body, which would continue to extend. All the monsters hit would be strangled to death and finally return to the black mist. Lin Yi could see clearly that the golden bandages seemed to be made of some unknown material, with countless patterns and mysterious powers on them. The third one, who was like a shadow, was the weirdest when he attacked. It was like a black hole. Once these monsters in black mist approached it, they would be instantly sucked into the body. Then wisps of black mist would float out of his body and merge into the surroundings again. All this looked very strange. Seeing this, Lin Yi instinctively frowned. Because she remembered something. He saw something familiar from these three mysterious strong men. This thing was not just the eternal breath of the president. It is also because their power is special and incompatible with the power in the void. And he has only seen this kind of power in two things. One is the ancestor dragon in the ancient god ruins, and the other is the infected ancient god sealed below. The power of the ancestor dragon is essentially different from that of the void. At that time, he didn't care, because the legendary ancestor dragon seemed to be born when the void didn't exist yet. Now seeing these three people, each of them has a power that doesn't belong to the void. Even if any of the black-robed people, his acquired principles do not contain any traces of the 5 innate principles. This directly gave him a wonderful idea in his mind. Could it be that these three people are life forms that don't belong to the void? Are they from outside the void? Or are they ancient mysterious creatures born before the void appeared? Thinking of this, his heart trembled slightly, and he seemed to find that there were still many mysterious people hidden in the void. For example, those great lives that existed in this world before the void appeared. The ancient gods seemed to be just the most brilliant existence among this group of great lives. This huge system created the void, and even attracted these great lives to come here. Then will these ancient life forms know the real secret of the disappearance of the ancient gods? A question flashed through Lin Yi's mind, and he felt that the things here were not simple. He followed the three people and continued to move forward into the fog. They killed one after another monster formed by the fog. Finally, they came to a bronze door. In this black palace, there was actually a bronze door, which was obviously unusual. On this bronze door, there was a wonderful scroll. The content on it was that a huge light illuminated an endless area. The stars in this area seemed to be showered under this huge light source. Lin Yi operated the True Destiny solution, carefully watching the picture on the bronze door, and suddenly made an amazing discovery. That is, this picture can be continuously enlarged, and there seemed to be one figure after another in those light spots, which looked very strange. If you look closely, you will find that these figures are standing quietly in the light with their eyes closed, looking like corpses. An extremely strange feeling flashed in Lin Yi's mind. At this time, the three people in front of the gate looked at the bronze gate and fell into a strange calm. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 943. An inexplicable thought slowly emerged from the black-robed figure. This is the third time we have come here. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow dot. The first two times we figured out the trap ahead, and the last time we stopped in front of this door. Today everyone gathers here. Do you have any way to open this door? The thought of the black-robed figure slowly echoed in this empty and silent palace. The mysterious man wrapped in golden bandages said slowly. I investigated some ancient things. This palace was moved from somewhere by the ancient gods, and it has an indescribable origin. They built this huge wall and moved this palace, all to block the opposite side. The specific origin of this palace is no longer traceable. I only found some scattered information in some ancient gods' ruins. This palace is a product of a more ancient coordinate, belonging to an unknown powerful existence. If you want to open this bronze door, you must have a special key. I got something by chance in the ancient gods' ruins. As he said, a green token appeared in his hand, which was exactly the same color as the bronze door. There was a ghost face on the token, which looked green and fanged, but very solemn and majestic, like a god. The man with the golden bandage came to the bronze gate with the token. He did not inject power into the bronze plate, but just raised his right hand. He flicked the back of the bronze plate gently. Dong. A strange sound wave slowly sounded and spread slowly around. The bronze plate emitted a series of green ripples, touching the bronze gate in front of them. The bronze gate was stimulated by the green ripples and immediately underwent a wonderful change. The gate hummed, and the painting on the gate immediately underwent countless changes. In the light, one mysterious human figure after another suddenly opened their eyes and looked at the three mysterious beings in front of the gate. This kind of gaze was very strange, full of coldness and dead silence, which made the three people feel a little cold in their hearts. In the end, their eyes fell on the bronze plate in the hands of the golden bandaged human figure. The light spots on the gate seemed to have received some kind of command and slowly moved to both sides. A gap appeared in the center of the bronze gate, and it slowly opened to both sides. However, the figures in the countless light spots on both sides of the gate still stared at the three of them. The three looked at each other, and only heard the black-robed figure say, Jin Yu, it seems that you need to take the lead now. The mysterious bandaged man called Jin Yu looked at the two of them and said lightly, you don't need to say it. The relationship between them is not as harmonious as imagined. Holding the bronze medal, Jin Yu walked in one step, not caring whether there was anyone staring at him from behind. Behind the bronze door is an equally dark space. When Jin Yu stepped into it, it was like he was immersed in the darkness and was no longer seen in an instant. Lin Yi's True Destiny solution also met an opponent. This pure darkness is very amazing and seems to have a strong interference effect on the True Destiny. This is the first time he has encountered it, which can substantially affect the power of the True Destiny. He can clearly feel that the vision in the True Destiny solution has become blurred and double. The Jin Yu in his eyes became illusory in the darkness, looking like a three-dimensional picture composed of lines. This weird feeling made his heart beat. The other two people seemed to have noticed that something was wrong with the darkness. At this time, Jin Yu was moving forward in the darkness, and the bronze plate in his hand emitted a faint green ripple, covering his whole body. He could feel the darkness outside the ripples, which seemed to have an unparalleled assimilation effect. If there was no bronze plate, he would be completely assimilated by the darkness. With his strength, he could not hold on for long, and this darkness made him feel dangerous from the bottom of his heart. He always stood at the door and did not move forward. Although he had a bad relationship with the two people outside, they could come here to take care of each other. Their main purpose of coming here was to explore the secrets hidden by the ancient gods. Before seeing the secrets, he did not intend to take risks alone. He took a step back and left the range of the bronze gate. The countless eyes on the gate were still looking at them. The mysterious black-robed figure slowly said, "Jin Yu, what did you see?" Jin Yu was shining all over, and after thinking for a moment, he replied, "It's very strange inside, this darkness seems to be able to assimilate everything. If it weren't for the power of this bronze plate, I wouldn't be able to last a void day inside." Hearing Jin Yu's words, the black-robed figure and the mysterious black shadow trembled slightly. Jin Yu's power is not inferior to theirs, and they are all ancient great lives, witnessing too many secrets. Even the ancient gods are not mysterious to them. Even if they really face an ancient god, they have a certain chance of winning. But now Jin Yu told him that the darkness behind the gate, even he couldn't resist it for long. What does that mean? They know it too well. The darkness behind the gate was actually higher than them, which was incredible. But soon the three of them seemed to have thought of something, and their bodies trembled slightly, as if they were excited. Lin Yi had been underground, watching the changes in the three of them, with a hint of confusion in his eyes. What's wrong with them? They look so excited. Did they think of something? This guy named Jin Yu said that the darkness inside will assimilate it. Why does this sound like the black substance released by the ancient god after being infected? That seems to be a power that can assimilate everything. Those who survived the ancient god's ruins seem to be very secretive about this dark substance and don't know it. The information I collected also shows that the substance is unique. It seems that there is no power that can resist it. The black shadow, who has never spoken, was shaken by his thoughts. Did the ancient god find the real one? So they disappeared. It's hard to say, don't jump to conclusions. This darkness is very dangerous. I don't know if this darkness originally belongs to this black palace, or if this bronze gate is connected to the huge wall outside. We need more information to draw conclusions. The ancient god hides too many secrets. The mysterious black-robed figure said thoughtfully. Jin Yu nodded. Can this bronze metal protect us as we go in together? The mysterious black shadow shook his head. There is only one bronze metal, even if it can, it won't work. The risk is too great. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 944. Let's explore next time. First go to the ruins of the ancient gods to find things that can play a role in them. After you find it, continue here. Hearing the black shadow's words, Jin Yu looked at the mysterious man in black robe. What do you think, black robe? The strange laughter echoed in the black robe. Don't rush into such a dangerous place blindly. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow Diamond Suit. Let's go back and prepare. Safety is the most important thing in this kind of place. Obviously two people without bronze tokens made the same choice, and they were not willing to take risks. Jin Yu looked at the black robe and the mysterious shadow, and said with a little regret, okay, next time you find something, come back. This time, at least we know what's behind this gate. It seems like the only darkness. After the three mysterious people reached an agreement, they began to retreat slowly. When the bronze token left the gate a few meters away, the bronze gate slowly closed, becoming silent again. The people in the dots of light above also closed their eyes. When Lin Yi saw this scene, his eyes showed a trace of solemnity, and then he slowly followed the three people. After spending some time, the three of them returned to the palace along the original path. They stood outside the palace, stared at the black palace for a long time, and finally turned and left. Soon they came to the dark land, in front of a gate that appeared out of thin air. The three of them jumped through the gate, and Lin Yi jumped out of the ground at the same time, following closely behind them. The moment he passed through the gate, Lin Yi sank to the ground, and the three people did not notice the entire process. True Destiny and True Destiny are too powerful, covering up all his information. He even followed them without being noticed. Lin Yi, who sank into the ground, looked at these three mysterious people quietly. As they left, the black door slowly closed, and then the door shattered. Three black structures fell from the gate and were caught in their hands. At this time, the pattern of the gate slowly appeared on the rock wall. The three figures, the golden jade, the black robe, and the mysterious shadow, looked at each other and left in three different directions. They were very fast and disappeared in a blink of an eye. Lin Yi slowly rose from the ground, looking at the direction in which they disappeared, thoughtfully. The water in the void is really deep. I have never even heard of the names of these mysterious people. However, maybe they are operating in other world groups. Various thoughts flashed through Lin Yi's mind, and he looked around. This is not the center of the entire distortion, but a place close to the center. Darkness covers this area, making it difficult to distinguish with the naked eye. The true center, the birthplace of distortion, lies deeper still. The chairman of the Void Destiny Committee wants to investigate the origin of this distortion. According to what he means, it seems that he suspects that this distortion is the origin of the strange place. Let's move on, there seem to be many secrets hidden here. The more he observed the various scenes here, the more Lin Yi felt that this place was extraordinary. Even if it's not the strange place of origin, there are definitely some crucial clues. After crossing the rock wall area of the dark side gate, Lin Yi continued to move deeper. After advancing for about 10 kilometers, an obvious boundary appeared in front of us again. That border was so dazzling, a gray distortion appeared ahead, in the dark world. It covered an area of about 10 kilometers, and Lin Yi could vaguely see its size. And that is the center of the entire distortion. The brilliance of the true fate explanation was constantly flashing, and the distortions he saw around him were all flaws that spread out from the gray distortion. In other words, a weakened or diluted version. Is that the source of the distortion? It seems that the danger inside is even more serious. After a few steps, he came to this gray and twisted border. Lifting his feet and stepping into this distortion, he felt that 1% of his spiritual waves disappeared in an instant. This consumption continued to increase, causing him to immediately retract his legs. We can't move forward anymore. The consumption here is too great, and the current spiritual wave cannot support it. Lin Yi frowned deeply. He once again felt the danger of the strange place. Since you can't go in, let's take another look. Thinking of this, the brilliance of the true life path in his eyes reached its peak. His eyes lit up like two lanterns, and an invisible gaze penetrated the gray distortion and looked towards the center. Then, he saw what seemed to be an abyss about 1 kilometer in diameter in the center of the gray. The twisted mist in the abyss is even more serious, hundreds of times more powerful than what is exposed on the ground. Is there something deeper in this twisted underground? What the hell is going on? Lin Yi had countless questions flashing in his mind, but no one would answer them for him. Everything here was a mystery. He took a deep breath and slowly withdrew his gaze. He had consumed half of his spiritual wave just now. He turned around and walked in the direction he came from, not intending to stay here any longer. This time the exploration ends here. If he wants to go further, he must expand the upper limit of his spiritual wave sphere. But this will take a long time, not a short time. The figure was like lightning, flashing hundreds of meters, thousands of meters, and quickly disappeared here. About 10 minutes later, he had arrived outside the distorted world. Standing outside, looking back at the strange area, a trace of solemnity appeared in his eyes. The strange place is getting more and more mysterious. In the dark desert outside, a huge terrifying creature hovered there, quietly watching the distorted world, locking onto Lin Yi. It was the strange existence that sniped him halfway when Lin Yi crossed this desert. But after Lin Yi entered this distorted space area, he seemed to have been entrenched here, waiting for Lin Yi to appear. The moment he appeared, the behemoth let out a terrifying roar. Then, a breath mixed with countless black soil and rocks fell from the sky and gushed towards Lin Yi. The violent power was endless, sweeping across infinite time and space, and Lin Yi was submerged in an instant. However, at this time, he was still under the protection of his true destiny. He glanced at the huge monster that attacked him and shook his head slightly. He took a step forward, accelerated directly, and left here like a stream of light. The terrifying fluctuations in the body of this giant exceeded the level of the heavenly immortal Dao by thousands of times. There was no point in forcing a battle. It would not be easy for Lin Yi to kill it in a simple battle. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 945. This monster obviously has no core, and its size is too huge. Now, only a small part of the body of this giant is exposed in front of Lin Yi. Most of its body is still hidden under the desert. Therefore, Lin Yi wisely did not intend to fight with the other party. In 1 minute, he crossed the desert and came to a new and strange place. Completely avoided the attack of this giant. Then, he activated the token given to him by the chairman of the Void Destiny Committee. A few seconds later, a mysterious light burst out from the token and directly enveloped him. His head seemed to attract some kind of power, and then a passage opened. With a flash of his figure, he disappeared here. The scenery in front of Lin Yi changed, and he appeared in a mysterious place, a huge platform surrounded by countless lights. The chairman of the Void Destiny Committee, the mysterious lord of the Fairy Palace and the Soul Master were all waiting here. When they saw Lin Yi return, they all showed a hint of expectation in their eyes. The president said slowly, "You are back, let's go to the palace first." As he said that, he waved his hand gently, and everyone present was enveloped by a mysterious force, and the next moment they returned to the mysterious palace in the center of the Void City. After returning to the palace, the president of the Void Fate Committee looked at Lin Yi and said calmly, "So, what did you see there this time?" Lin Yi looked at the three people in front of him, their eyes were all on him, and there was a hint of expectation in their eyes. After thinking about it, Lin Yi directly told them everything he had seen along the way. They listened to what Lin Yi said, thought of everything that happened along the way, and their eyes were full of incredible flashes. They never thought that there were so many mysterious things hidden in that twisted area. Ancient corpses, black spears, dark side doors, walls that cross the world, black palaces, bronze gates, and abysses shrouded by grey distortions. These things, one by one, subverted their cognition. Let them deeply realize that the strange place seems not as simple as they imagined. There seem to be too many secrets buried there. The most important thing is that they have never heard of the three mysterious characters who appeared there. Especially from Lin Yi, the information they got showed that these three people were most likely some mysterious creatures before the birth of the void. They have unimaginable power, beyond understanding, and know many, many secrets. The chairman of the Void Fate Committee sighed deeply. It seems that there are many things hidden in this void that we don't know. Maybe we should try to investigate those ancient life forms. They may know what happened in this world. The Soul Master and the Lord of the Asgard fell into silence. The news that Lin Yi brought to them was too shocking. Many contents subverted their views and cognition of the void. Lin Yi looked at them and said calmly, "This time, my mission is temporarily over. The abyss under the gray and white distortion, I will go and take a look when my power reaches a higher level in the future. That's all for today." Hearing Lin Yi say this, the president smiled, "Okay, we have obtained enough information for this mission. We need to think carefully and investigate. I hope that we can continue to cooperate next time." Lin Yi smiled, Of course there is no problem. My Wanchaiwu is honest and trustworthy. Take money from others and help them get rid of disasters. 10 minutes later, Lin Yi had left the Void City and returned to Wanchaiwu quietly. This exploration made him see a lot of things. It made him more determined that he must complete the seventh true destiny in order to truly gain a foothold in this endless void. To complete the seventh true destiny, he must first complete the imagination of the Daohan universe. At this time, his blue star clone has entered a state of latent cultivation. Every day, it consumes a huge amount of resources, constantly derives mechanical acquired principles, and establishes a mechanical Daohan world. At the same time, the Wanchaiwu has also increased the collection and use of talents. Every night, a large number of notes will be thrown into one world after another. More and more wishes appear in Wanchaiwu like mushrooms after rain. Every day, there are hundreds of tasks posted on the task board for bounty hunters to choose from. At present, the level of tasks is basically stable at B level and below. A level is very rare, and S level has never appeared. The number of tasks every day has reached tens of thousands, which is a very amazing number. Absinthe and Lafite red wine in the store, these two guys began to specialize in managing the task list and reward collection. Brandy is responsible for the overall management of the entire Wanchaiwu, commanding and taking care of various matters. Vodka and whiskey are responsible for logistics and security. Gin is responsible for collecting wishes and scattering notes at night. Sakuramiya Shirley, Li Hualian, Shen Wuifang, Lao Wei, and others continue their bounty hunter journey. Among them, Li Hualian and Shen Wuifang led those who came out of Blue Star to form a bounty hunter team. They are a force directly under the Yoroswia, which is very different from the bounty hunters in the void. Most of the easy jobs were given to them, and they didn't even appear in the bar. Because any easy job would be directly given to them after Jin signed the wish, and it would not appear on the task board at all. Every day, the harvest of the Wanchaiwu was growing like a snowball. Lin Yi's human immortal clone was also busy. Every day, he was constantly forging spiritual wave weapons and selling them to the Void Fate Committee. At the same time, he had to charge the spiritual wave storage device every day. Now a super large energy storage device has been built in the Wanchaiwu. The large energy storage devices that need to be charged every day will be directly plugged into the super large energy storage device for charging. He only needs to charge the super large energy storage device a few times a day to meet the current consumption. With a large number of spiritual wave weapon sets being sold, Lin Yi can feel that the upper limit of the spiritual wave sphere is exploding every day. Since he started selling spiritual wave weapons, his current spiritual wave sphere upper limit has increased 3 times. He can feel the infinite spiritual waves rolling in the spiritual wave sphere, which brings him a great sense of security. Lin Yi's main body was still practicing the void tribulation, and he had almost no free time at this time. He was becoming stronger every moment. At the same time, he also found many people who wanted to succeed through the power of the Wish Shrine. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 946. Lin Yi will exchange the gifted gems for those who are eager to succeed. In the future, when they condense the Dao mark, they will have to pay him all the information of these Dao marks as a price. Mechanical Dao marks can continue to evolve as long as there is energy, which Lin Yi is not worried about. As for the imaginary Dao marks that contain the fantasy of life, he needs to create them through the Wish Shrine, which will inevitably be very long. Although he will select thousands of people every night, it is not a simple matter to gather the Dao marks of 270 billion small worlds. Without thousands of years of accumulation, don't even think about it. Thinking of this, he took a deep breath, and a trace of solemnity appeared in his eyes. It still takes time. I'm too young and haven't accumulated for a long time. Compared with the real strong in the void, who have accumulated for tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of years, I'm still too young. The two clones already have heavy work to do. The main body can't walk either, and it feels a bit insufficient. It seems that I need to create a third clone again. The third clone is mainly for solving problems that bounty hunters can't solve. The most important thing is strong combat power. With the power of true destiny, it can be invincible. Then the third clone must be able to accumulate power infinitely and involve the system of the 5 major rules of the world, so that there will be no flaws. Perfect divine body and dark abyss can still be used. It can quickly increase the combat power to at least the level of the heavenly immortal. Then practice the appropriate system, with a strong body as the foundation, and practice will be faster. Lin Yi carefully analyzed his current situation and knew what he should do most now. Thinking of this, Lin Yi's blue star clone began to act. First, a perfect divine body was cultivated, and then a trace of soul seed was separated and entered into the perfect divine body. Then, soul matter was injected to allow this trace of soul to grow smoothly and take over this new perfect divine body. When all this was completed, a new clone appeared. At this time, Lin Yi had 4 perspectives, feeling his new body, although empty, but full of vitality and infinite potential. Taking a deep breath, the new clone selected 5 different systems. These 5 systems did not conflict with each other, and even the direction of cultivation was completely different. But they involved 5 major systems respectively, and the biggest feature was that they could accumulate power infinitely in the direction of these 5 major systems. The first system is called Duzan Dao, which is a wonderful material system. By drawing mysterious runes on the body and then absorbing the essence of the material, the stronger the absorbed material essence, the more indestructible the body will be, and the greater the power will be. In the end, it can tear up time and space with an extremely large mass, a pure material way. The second is called Wankai Fa, which is a wonderful energy system. By absorbing spiritual energy, an energy core is built in the body, and this energy core will be able to attract energy of all attributes between heaven and earth. Collect various pure energies, temper them, and transform ordinary energy into an energy form called true Qi, which has powerful destructive power. When each attribute of energy is tempered to the peak, it will become a wonderful rune and be engraved in the energy core. Finally, the energy core contains countless runes of energy attributes, which can absorb all energy between heaven and earth and convert it into true Qi of any attribute, so that the Qi of heaven and earth can be controlled by the heart. The third system is called the Soul and Relics Dao. This is a method of cultivating the soul, which is divided into 5 major realms: spiritual, focused, soul, all thoughts, and relics. Spiritual is to sense the soul, and at the same time, it can sense the soul sea of the outside world, absorb the soul particles in the soul sea to strengthen its own soul. When the soul is strong to a certain extent, it condenses into the appearance of the body, produces a soul, and affects reality, with all kinds of incredible power. This is the focus of the soul. Then arrange and combine the structure of his soul, and finally evolve the 5 internal organs, countless acupoints, bones and flesh, and turn the soul without structure into a soul life form. In the realm of all thoughts, the soul can be divided into countless paths. As long as there is one left, it can start again and never fear death. Each soul can be the main body or the clone, just in a thought. The last 5th realm relic is that the soul is unified, and finally condenses a soul mark that is neither born nor destroyed, in an unfathomable and wonderful soul state. The 4th system is a space cultivation method, the ethereal way. This method requires the condensation of a wonderful space appearance, and requires a trace of one's own soul as the foundation. The space appearance condensed by this trace of soul will merge with the power of space to become the consciousness of the space appearance. This system only has the step of cultivating the space appearance. After that, The practice depends entirely on personal understanding and the accumulation of space power, and there is no direction. The so-called space appearance, in Lin Yi's view, is to completely get rid of the limitations of the body and turn himself into another life form. This kind of life form can freely contact the power of space, learn and understand it, which depends entirely on personal talent. In order to practice this method, Lin Yi even melted all the talents related to space in his treasure house into a gem and used it in the soul of the space external phase. As for the fifth system, Tianji Master, it is related to time and is very mysterious. If you want to practice, you must have an external object as a foundation to condense a wonderful state of mind before you can start to contact time. This external object is named the sand of time, which is priceless and very precious. Lin Yi also spent a huge price to buy it from the Void City. And he also used the relationship of the Void Destiny Committee to buy this thing from the inside. Otherwise, with his current Void connections, he can't get this thing. Fighting Dao, Wankai Method, Void Spirit Dao, Soul Relic Dao, Tianji Master, 5 new systems, after careful selection, became the power that the third clone needs to practice. A large amount of materials were quickly absorbed by this third clone, with the power of the true destiny solution. These systems have no bottlenecks and difficulties for him. These 5 systems are not difficult in nature, and their strength lies in their infinite accumulation. They are all very ancient systems, but after entering the void, they gradually showed their disadvantages. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 947. Facing a true immortal cultivator, a Tianxian cultivator who has completed the first 3 tribulations, the Duzan Dao, Wankai Fa and Kongling Dao are almost useless. And the Xuanhuan Relic Dao and Tianji Master also have many means to restrain them. These systems have a lot of defects to a greater or lesser extent, so those who finally practice these systems will choose to practice other systems to improve their own defects. The most powerful thing about these 5 systems is that their power can be accumulated infinitely. It can even form energy fluctuations at the level of destroying the world. For those who are not immune to these specific powers, it is a natural disaster. But for those who are immune to their power, they are like living meat targets. It only takes some time to kill them all. Lin Yi has the true destiny and the talent of a perfect divine body, which happens to be able to perfectly master multiple systems. It can create a powerful body with infinite power and avoid their defects. Now the Wanchaiwa does not lack various means of saving lives, but lacks an absolutely powerful power. Because some tasks must be completed with the power of destroying the world. Now Lin Yi plans to make up for this last shortcoming. From now on, he will no longer have any flaws. And after seeing the ancient gods, the 9-clawed black dragon, the golden jade, the black robe, the mysterious shadow, these ancient life forms, he discovered a problem. These people not only have the nature of eternity, but also have nearly 1,000 times or even tens of thousands of times the combat power of the heavenly immortal level. Eternity and power are compatible, and these great void lives, without exception, have powerful power, which is obviously for some reason. Dozens of void days have passed in a flash. At this time, the front line has undergone tremendous changes. A large number of Void Destiny Committee warriors have obtained a brand new weapon. This weapon is called the Lingbo weapon, which has the terrible ability to completely eliminate the weird. Since its appearance, it has made it easier for the warriors of the Void Destiny Committee to deal with the weird. The front line has also become more and more stable, and even the defense line surrounding the weird void is shrinking rapidly. A large number of weirds have been completely eliminated, resulting in the weird voids, which seem to have been affected by something and have shrunk a lot. This change was naturally noticed by the people of the Void Fate Committee. Everyone foresaw a possible future, in which the strange void would be completely eliminated. This world group will return to the safest state without any strangeness. Even a large number of people have begun to use spiritual wave weapons in the world to carry out strange elimination. In this world group, there are many strange worlds. The creatures in those worlds are still fighting and struggling to save the world from destruction. The appearance of spiritual wave weapons has made everyone see possibilities and hope. Even the Void Fate Committee has begun an experiment. A huge world, quietly floating in the void, seems to exist forever. From the outside, this world is like being shrouded in an invisible space-time barrier. But at this time, a considerable part of the world has been shrouded in a black fog. The world is gradually becoming weird, and is moving towards irreversible destruction bit by bit. At this time, a huge spaceship flew outside the world. This spaceship is streamlined, silver-white, and quietly suspended in the upper layer of this world. Then, hundreds of figures appeared in the spaceship. They all held powerful spiritual wave weapons, and the aura of each person reached the level of Tianxiandao. Then, they gathered together and a light gate appeared in front of them. This light gate spread out a force and directly connected to the barrier of the world. The next moment, a mysterious passage appeared in the light gate. Then, this team of 100 people passed through the light gate. When they came to the world behind the light, they saw a world in war. You can see that there are constant explosions of fire and light, and they appear in various places. Only some large cities are still safe. A large number of strange beings have appeared on the periphery of the city and are attacking them. This world is a very high-tech world, and the city is covered by a layer of energy light shield. At the border of the city, a large number of mecha armies, using energy lightsabers and optical weapons, are attacking the invading strange beings. The strange existence in this world is also very interesting. In addition to the organisms eroded by the strange power, there are also corroded mecha robots and other metal products. A mixed army, with the strong characteristics of this world. The battle between the two sides was in full swing, and death was almost commonplace. But overall, the technological world was completely at a disadvantage. Their attacks were not very effective against these strange beings. Even if they were cut in half, the strange beings would recover quickly. These mecha warriors were just stalling for time. The next moment, the light shield covering a city suddenly began to vibrate at a high frequency. Then, a blue shock wave spurted out from the light shield and swept around. This shock wave seemed to be a high-energy ion shock. Wherever it passed, everything was decomposed into the finest particles. The mecha warriors outside the shield were also within the attack range. Obviously, they were abandoned objects, or the death squad, fighting for this moment. This ion impact instantly covered an area of 100 kilometers. All the strange existences were instantly cleared, and only those extremely powerful individuals could survive. They would also suffer huge trauma, but as long as they did not die, it would only take a few minutes to recover. The ground was covered with ashes, and the area within a radius of 10 kilometers became a dead land. But 100 kilometers away, a large number of strange existences seemed to be attracted by the impact here and quickly gathered here. In just over 30 minutes, this place was surrounded by a large number of strange existences again. The ruler of the city, a man with 3 eyes and blue skin, stood on the tallest building in the city. There was a trace of despair in his eyes. They were already one of the only 10 remaining large cities in the world. And now, their reserve energy is about to run out. They have already fought off the 357th strange attack, and with their current energy, they can only last 7 or 8 more times. Is there really no hope for our world? Where do these terrifying beings come from? The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 948. Although the ruler's eyes flashed with doubt and despair, his face did not show any expression. All the people in the city were watching him, and they were even cheering. Because this time the weirdness was repelled again. They believed that as long as they relied on this great city, they would be able to defeat these mysterious weirdnesses that invaded. But only a few people knew that the city's energy reserves were insufficient. If this continued, the city would fall completely in a few days at most. Just when the ruler was completely in despair, a series of figures emitting strong light appeared in the sky. They walked out of a golden gate, extremely dazzling, attracting everyone's attention. The ruler looked up at the sky, full of doubts and confusion. What is this? But the people who walked out of these lights did not care about them. After appearing, they instantly turned into streams of light and flew in all directions. One of them, with boundless brilliance, instantly landed outside the giant city. The next moment, a huge crescent swept across the ground. Wherever it passed, all the weirdness was instantly cut in half. At the same time, something even more terrifying happened. The essence of these weirdness was directly destroyed by the power of this crescent, and they completely lost their activity. They turned into countless ashes out of thin air and fell to the ground like snowflakes. These weirdnesses died completely, and a large amount of weird power began to dissipate. But then, the figure covered by the light was filled with endless flames, covering the entire battlefield. All the scattered weird power was ignited and neutralized by these flames in an instant. This figure was like the god of death, quickly harvesting all the weird existences it saw. And this kind of thing is happening quickly in every corner of this world. Hundreds of lights fell in their respective areas, cleaning up all the weird existences within their sight. Most of the weird existences in this world are very weak, and they are not even better than the ghost immortals. For those of them who are at the level of the heavenly immortals, there is no pressure at all to clean up, just like cutting vegetables and tofu. The whole world was cleaned up in just a few days, without any residue. Even some weird illusions could not stop the siege of hundreds of Tianxiandao level strong men. Under the effect of Lingbo weapons, a large number of weird essences were completely eliminated, and the world seemed to have restored peace. But this world still integrated a lot of weird essences, and weirdness would be born every moment. To completely eliminate the weird essences integrated into this world, it takes a long time to continuously clean up the weird existences that appear. They will be eliminated bit by bit until the weird essences integrated into the world are completely wiped out, and this will take a long time. This group of Tianxiandao level Void Destiny Committee warriors have long been prepared. They gathered all the rulers of this world at the first time and informed them of the existence of the Void Destiny Committee. They were forced to form a new system and quickly integrated all the power of this world. A system that acts independently will only waste the limited power of this world. To resist foreign aggression, we must first stabilize the internal situation. Then, this system was incorporated into the sphere of influence of the Void Destiny Committee. Their task is to continue to clean up this world, and the remaining weird essence is their main task. In order to achieve this goal, they were left with 1,000 Lingbo weapons and Lingbo energy storage devices. They also left contact information and the intervals at which Lingbo energy storage devices would be delivered. At this point, the experiment was temporarily over, and the next step was long-term observation. Once this plan is indeed feasible and can accomplish the task of saving the world, then this method can be popularized throughout the world group. Finally, the weirdness will be completely eliminated from this world group. This will be a relatively long plan, which will take 10 years. At this time, in a mysterious place in this world group, 5 mysterious figures in black robes gathered here. These people were the group of mysterious people who appeared in the last exploration of the ancient god ruins. They appeared in a mysterious time and space, where there was only pure black, without any other substances or forces, as if it was empty. One of them said, "You should have heard about what happened recently on the front line of the Void Fate Committee. The thing called the spiritual wave weapon actually eliminated the weird essence. This is incredible. We all know that the weird essence is almost indestructible. Even the ancient gods cannot avoid being eroded. This matter is very special, we must get the principle behind it." If we can crack the weird essence, we can truly become a complete body. Now I have received news that this mysterious spiritual wave weapon was made by a man named Lin Yi. This man's origin is mysterious and unpredictable, and he can even go to weird places freely. And his power system is also very strange. He seems to have several clones, each with a different power system. The immortal cultivation system, the acquired rule system, and an unknown power system. The first two systems are very ordinary and not worth our attention. But the third mysterious system he possesses is extraordinary. I got some of his public combat data. These contents are recorded by people with ulterior motives. I discovered something amazing. The third mysterious system mastered by this person can ignore any attack. No matter whether it is the 5 innate rules or the acquired rule system, they can't have any effect on him. Even the miracle coins of the death series can't have any effect on him. No, it should be said that the effect of the death coins is not enough to kill him. This is a very incredible thing. I have never met anyone who has no effect on miracle coins. Now he has even made this thing called Lingbo weapon. It can eliminate the essence of weirdness, you see. As he said, a Lingbo weapon appeared in front of everyone. Everyone's eyes fell on this weapon. One of them raised his hand slightly and pointed at the weapon. In an instant, the weapon was directly shattered, and only the energy device was left. The core of this weapon is actually this energy device, and everything else is just to apply the power in it. This power is very strange, I have never seen it before. But what is certain is that it seems to be related to the power of the mind. The mind is a wonderful power. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 949. The ancient gods once studied the secrets of the mind. This power has existed since the birth of life. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow dot. It is a most ancient power. But for countless years, the systems that have been able to make achievements in this power are so rare that they are unimaginable. Even if there are achievements, the power is limited. But all mental powers have one characteristic. That is the possibility of realizing everything. What you think in your heart can become a reality. It is a power that even the ancient gods are looking forward to. Among the 5 mysterious black-robed men, the one who seemed to be the leader said slowly. The power in this weapon is extraordinary, and it seems to have reached a higher level of mental power. For all the mental systems we have studied so far, it is impossible to reach this level. There is definitely something wrong with this guy named Lin Yi. And at this moment, he gently stretched out his hand and pointed at the energy storage device. The energy storage device exploded directly, and the spiritual waves and evil principles in it appeared in this space. After losing its carrier, the evil principles quickly dissipated and turned into a piece of information and a pure evil spiritual magnetic field, disappearing in this space. Without the carrier of the evil principles, the spiritual waves quickly turned into a piece of particles and dissipated around. Seeing this scene, the black-robed man in the lead stretched out his hand and grabbed it. A majestic, dark spiritual light diffused from his hand and enveloped the spiritual waves. The spiritual light was indeed useful, and it immediately blocked the disappearance of the spiritual waves. A dark ball of light appeared in his hand, and the spiritual waves rolled in the light ball. Looking at the spiritual waves trapped in his hands, the mysterious black-robed man showed a hint of excitement in his eyes. You see, this power is indeed related to the power of the spiritual level. I have already practiced all the systems related to the soul in the void, and even integrated them all to create a new path. But I can feel that my spiritual power can only prevent this power from disappearing. But it cannot have a real impact on it. The essence of this spiritual power has surpassed the spiritual level I have mastered. This mysterious Lin Yi, his origin is definitely extraordinary. I have seen traces of mysterious existence at the spiritual level. Although it was just an accident, the world at the spiritual level may have forms of existence that we don't know. I strongly suspect that this Lin Yi is an existence that descended from the spiritual level to the void. His purpose may be to target weirdness. The mysterious man in black robe made his own judgment, a shocking theory. But this is just my guess. Whether it is true or not, I am afraid we need to conduct further investigation. Everyone, it seems that we have to find a way to contact this mysterious Lin Yi. If possible, I suggest arresting him. Seize the secret of his power. The power of the mind may be our only key to the real one. After all, that is the power that the ancient gods are looking forward to. Countless ancient lives have not been able to truly master the power. This time this opportunity suddenly appeared, we must try it. The others nodded and had no opinion. Next, I will try to contact you, and everyone will wait for my news. The world group where the Void Destiny Committee is located is now entering a large-scale change in full swing. More than 20,000 spiritual wave weapons are distributed to the soldiers of the committee every day. At the same time, one charging point after another is established. These charging points are all large chargers made by Lin Yi. The number has reached hundreds, forming a huge network distributed in the areas where the weird invasion of this world group is the most serious. A large number of committee soldiers continue to sneak into one invaded world after another. Started to help the natives there to cleanse the weird existence. In a month, the Void Fate Committee has made great gains. There are about 300 worlds that have been slightly invaded by the weird, and now they have all been liberated and restored. As long as the natives in the world group have a certain number of spiritual wave weapons and enough large chargers, they can suppress a world and no longer allow the weird to appear on a large scale. Now because of the production problem of large energy storage devices, only 20 worlds have large energy storage devices. Other large energy storage devices are all over the void, which is convenient for the warriors in the void to replenish energy consumption. At this time, Lin Yi is trying to increase the daily output. A large number of items that can condense negative emotional magnetic fields have been refined into the big formation by him. At the same time, he is constantly modifying and optimizing the world-weary beings, demons, and ghosts. At this time, the flags of this set of formations have expanded to the number of 1 UN. The 3 large formations have been merged into one, occupying a full floor of the underground maze. Moreover, a negative emotional world that seemed to be real evolved from these formation flags. This world was completely composed of negative emotional magnetic fields, and by extracting the information from these emotional magnetic fields, countless evil stories evolved. The inner world has reached tens of millions of square kilometers, and endless celestial beings are born from it every moment. The number of celestial relics that can be condensed every hour has reached a huge number of 30,000. This is the improvement he has completed in the past 2 days, and in 2 days he has harvested 1.44 million celestial relics. Half of these celestial relics were directly trained into large energy storage devices by him, that is, 720 pieces. The rest were all trained into spiritual wave weapons and then sold to the Void Fate Committee. Now the production of spiritual wave weapons has reached its limit. The 3 celestial beings in the sealed coffin are being drained of a lot of breath every moment, just like blood pigs. However, at the same time, a lot of evil power is also injected into the coffin to maintain their physical consumption. They have completely turned into meat pigs, growing as they are cut, and will never dry up. This makes them live worse than death, but there is nothing they can do. In this coffin, they can't even want to die. According to Lin Yi's calculation, in just 1 month, the worlds previously occupied by the weird will be completely restored in the world group where the Void Destiny Association is located. Even if it is a completely occupied world, as long as the weird inside is cleared, it can be restored. At this time, the Void Destiny Committee has begun a general mobilization, issuing various tasks to attack one invaded world after another. And on the most dangerous front, with the continuous increase of spiritual wave weapons, the weird void is also shrinking at an alarming speed. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 950. The strange void did not appear out of thin air. A large number of strange things appeared in the void, and the majestic strange power caused changes, which led to its existence. When a large number of weird beings are killed, this weird hole can no longer be maintained. During this period of time, due to the emergence of spiritual wave weapons, at least 100,000 strange beings died on the front lines every day. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. Although weird is powerful, their weakness is also obvious and they have no wisdom. There are only a very few weirdos with wisdom, and they are very mysterious. Most of them exist purely by instinct to devour and attack all living creatures. Therefore, the Void Destiny Committee has countless years of experience in dealing with these weirdnesses. Large formations surrounded the entire hollow. As long as these strange beings entered it, they would almost certainly die. Although there are not many people from the Void Destiny Committee guarding the front line. But it can firmly block hundreds of millions of strange things, relying on the extremely powerful formation, which is the magic weapon for defeating the strong with the weak. In terms of pure power, there is almost no upper limit to the superposition, and these weird forms can be easily destroyed. But the reason why we didn't do this in the past was because everyone knew it. The weird essence cannot be eliminated, and the elimination of weird forms will only increase their erosion of the void. The only thing you can do is to stop them so they can't get out. But now there is no such concern anymore, and large-scale encirclement and suppression campaigns have begun. The achievements during this period were also remarkable, with the front line being at least half smaller than in the past. If we keep persisting, it won't be long before the entire front line will be completely cleaned up. The Lingbo weapon has shown enough charm in the void, causing countless people to cheer. All forces have noticed this mysterious Lin Yi and his Wanchai Wu. Almost all the information about him has been placed on the desks of the leaders of the Void forces one after another. The Void Destiny Committee is an alliance composed of many forces. The president is only the nominal leader of the alliance. Although he can issue various orders, he also has certain rights. But each force also has its own basic base, which is not controlled by the alliance. At this time, many forces had begun to pay attention to Wanchai Wu and Lin Yi. After all, the gifted orbs produced in the House of Everything have huge effects. There are even people who have accommodated multiple talents and have become geniuses in all aspects from a completely ordinary cultivator. This kind of treasure, which can greatly increase one's ability to break through bottlenecks in the future, is naturally sought after by countless people. There are even bounty hunters who complete tasks in exchange for talent orbs. Then resell them to earn a lot of materials to improve yourself, then continue to complete the mission of the Master House, and then exchange for the talent orbs. It formed a brand new industrial chain, and also allowed many void powerhouses who were trapped in resources to find a way to break out of their predicament. All this was expected by Lin Yi, and he did not stop this situation. Because of this kind of industrial chain, it is bound to attract more strong people to enter the Wanchai Wu view and become bounty hunters. The larger the membership of an organization, the more difficult it is to collapse. Moreover, these members have no cost to Lin Yi at all, and they are almost a guaranteed profit-making business. No matter what these people want to do, in the end they cannot affect the normal operation of everything. Because he has mastered the method of extracting talent, which is a scarce resource. In any environment, those who possess scarce resources will always have the absolute right to speak. This is the technical barrier. Moreover, he also has the Lingbo weapon, a big killer, for anyone who wants to take action against him. We must all consider what serious consequences will occur once the production of Lingbo weapons is interrupted and the charging of Lingbo is disconnected. There may be great changes on the front line again, and the world that has been calmed down may once again experience strange invasions, causing chaos one after another. It is enough to make those who benefit from this war burst into flames of incomparable rage, crushing those who take action into pieces. All of this is due to Lin Yi mastering the core technology, and no one can do without him. As long as they can't crack the secret of Lingbo and get the secret of the gifted orb, then Lin Yi will naturally have two amulets. But he also knows that there are always greedy people in this world, and there are always people who want to tempt others. Lin Yi's third clone was sitting in front of the floor-to-ceiling window of Wanchaiwu, looking outside quietly. With the power of massive resources and the true life path, it only takes a few dozen void days. The power of his clone has reached the level of celestial immortal Deo. He has mastered all 5 systems and has cultivated it to an extremely strong level. In terms of pure combat power, his clone has surpassed all his clones and body. If you cooperate with Zhenming, basically no power can harm him. The next third clone, as long as it continuously accumulates the power of the 5 systems and reaches 1,000 or 10,000 times the fluctuations of the celestial Deo, it can become a giant that shocks one party. A man wearing a white scholar's robe slowly walked into the Wansawa room, and his eyes fell directly on Lin Yi. This is a man with sword-shaped eyebrows and starry eyes, wearing a feather fan and a turban. His whole body is filled with a charming style and a strong bookish air. He is a man who has experienced poetry and literature. He slowly came to Lin Yi with a faint smile on his face. "Hello, Manager Lin, I am Bai Yulong, the Dean of Heiran Academy. I wonder if I can sit across from you." Lin Yi looked at him and smiled softly, waved his hand and said, "Of course there is no problem." This Bai Yulong sat opposite Lin Yi. "I wonder why Mr. Bai Yulong came to my place." Bai Yulong had a charming smile on his face. "There is nothing wrong with going to the 3 Treasures Hall. Mr. Lin, our Heiran Academy wants to discuss a business deal with you." "What business?" "We want to buy your technology for making spiritual wave weapons. Complete technology for manufacturing spiritual wave weapons and energy storage devices, including methods for extracting that mysterious power." Bai Yulong's face straightened and he looked at Lin Yi with burning eyes. Lin Yi looked at him and smiled slightly. "This is impossible. The technology for making this spiritual wave weapon is actually not a secret in your eyes. What you really want is the technology to extract energy like spiritual waves. But it's impossible for me to give this kind of power to anyone. This is my housekeeping skill. Even if it can be traded, you can't afford this price because my life is at stake. No one would trade their lives for it." Bai Yulong smiled when he heard this.